こんにちは. My name is Sarah and this is my channel to talk about my time traveling and studying in Japan. For this video I will be talking about Tokyo. I've actually been to Tokyo twice, once on my own and once with some friends. I'll first cover my first trip and then I will make another video for my second trip, but there will be a link at the end of the video. I first arrived to Tokyo by night bus. Night buses are fairly cheap and a great option because you don't have to pay for a hostel that night, you just sleep on the bus. However, and this is very important, get trunk space. I don't know if I accidentally bought a seat that just didn't have trunk space or if I had to list that I had a suitcase to put in the trunk. Either way, I was tired, I was making it to Tokyo no matter what, so I was like, okay, we're doing this. I managed to cram my backpack into the tiny space above the seat, and then, and this is the piece de resistance, I managed to cram my duffel bag under a seat where clearly nothing was supposed to be crammed. So I actually kind of ended up sitting like this for the whole trip, but luckily my ability to fall asleep pretty much anywhere came in handy. So I arrived to Tokyo all in one piece, and my first stop was Harajuku. This is a neighborhood known for attracting teens and tourists with its fashion and character stores and really cutesy food and candy stores. Those of you who have seen Avril Lavigne's Hello Kitty video may find this area familiar looking. Anyway, the most popular street in Harajuku is called Takashita Street. I had a great time walking up and down the street and getting things like this Kirby pen and a Sailor Moon letter set. You'll also probably find a lot of funny misspelled English words on t-shirts and things like that. Sometimes it comes out weird or nonsensical. Also pretty much the equivalent of people who get Japanese or Chinese character tattoos and have no idea what they say. Next I went to Meiji Shrine, which is pretty close by to Harajuku. It's named after Emperor Meiji, so it's a bit more recent than some other shrines built in about 1920. For me, it wasn't as impressive after seeing all these shrines and temples in Kyoto, but if you only have time to stop in Tokyo, I would recommend it. The scenery is really pretty, and it had some unique architecture from what I'd seen before. For my second day in Tokyo, I went to a bunny cafe called Yusaga Fue Mimi. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm really more of a dog person. At home I have a dog named Zoe. She's so cute! But I adore everything fluffy in general, it's just that rabbits are more my style than cats. It was a bit far from my hostel, but I picked this place specifically because I'd read it's very friendly to its bunnies. I'll put a link in the description. For price of entry you get a drink. I got a chai latte and it was actually quite yummy, and all the bunny cuddles you want for the time you get. You're given an apron and a pair of shoes so that you don't accidentally step on any bunny poop, and the bunnies kind of tend to nibble on clothing sometimes. This isn't to say there's bunny poop everywhere, but better safe than sorry. And of course they give you a little cup of pellets so that the bunnies love you. The bunnies are really friendly, even to each other. Sometimes they were cuddling, and one time two of the bunnies started, screwing like rabbits. Afterwards, the woman who worked there broke them up and casually commented, "Huh, they're two girl bunnies. You do you, you crazy wabbits." Afterwards it was raining, so I decided to go to the Edo-Tokyo Musuem. The Edo period took place from about 1600 to 1868. They actually had these super cool models that I really liked. My next day actually started very early because I was trying to go to the Tsukiji Fish Market. The Tsukiji Fish Market is known for having the freshest fish, and the auction is a popular tourist thing for seeing the crazy people bidding on all the giant tunas and stuff like that. Some people get annoyed because it's actually not supposed to be a tourist attraction, but a lot of tourists end up going there, which is why they limit the entry to the auction to 60 people. I stayed at a nearby manga cafe until 2:30 a.m. and then headed over to see if I could get into the auction, but it was 3 a.m. and it was already full. Unfortunately, I did not take into account that the location of the market's apparently going to be changing really soon, so people were kind of going to the auction for an element of nostalgia, and it was super busy. So I tiredly stumbled around the market for a while, took some really bad pictures, decided I was too tired and cheap for legit sushi, and headed back to my hostel for a couple hours of sleep. When I woke up, I was hanging in the common room of the hostel, and another traveler was talking about a fireworks festival going on in the evening, so I decided to meet up with him later and I'd hang out in Akihabara for the day. Akihabara is a neighborhood that has a lot of electronic goods, otaku stuff, and maid cafes. I really enjoyed just walking around this neighborhood. They have all sorts of funky shops. There were a lot of funky people like wearing cool outfits and some like I don't even know what outfits made of like messenger bag and buttons. There was a funky performance thing going on with all the dancing, and I got some cool stuff like Bad and Evil by Moonlight. Can you guess what my childhood anime was yet? After that, I met up with the other travelers and headed to the festival. I think it's a really cool experience going to any Japanese festival. For this one, it was going to be fireworks over the water, kind of like an end of summer festival. So a bunch of people were lined up with food and picnic blankets along the bank of the river. We got some booze and chilled until the fireworks went off, and they were really fun to watch. Not too much of a difference from other fireworks shows I've seen, but I still really enjoyed the vibe, and it's free. The next day I went to Ueno Zoo. The pride of Ueno Zoo is these two giant pandas. They're very large and impressive, but of course there's like a high chance of them being asleep when you're there. There's also a big selection of other animals like tigers, turtles, lemurs, giraffes, you name it. It's a pretty huge zoo. It was a nice way to spend the morning walking around, seeing all the cute animals. And some not so cute. There was one I just found so absurd looking. It's apparently called a shoebill stork, and it looks ridiculous. It doesn't look like a real animal. It looks so fake, but it's real. After that, I went to Shibuya Crossing. It's one of the most famous, really busy crossways. It's a great place to people watch and experiment with shutter speed. There's a Starbucks right here above the crossing that has like really good view. It's like super crowded, of course, but they're also like super efficient. The employees there deserve like a big high five. And since I was traveling alone, I managed to get a spot by the window where I took some nice pictures. Also, let's just acknowledge this guy right here being an awesome gaijin. I love it. Also worth mentioning, the things that they use to block off construction zones in Tokyo have Hello Kitties on rainbows on them. That completed my first trip to Tokyo. I went again though and saw many more awesome things, so don't forget to check out my next video when it comes out. I'll put a little link. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, don't be shy to ask in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and see you next time. Bye!